Om Shanti and a very warm welcome to this third episode of Spiritually Speaking. We are continuing our discussion about positivity with Sister Vidatri from Om Shanti Retreat Center in Gurugram. In the first two episodes, we learned about creating positive thinking patterns, a positive outlook towards life. We also learned about positive self-talk and the relationship of positivity with our state of well-being. We concluded that positivity has a direct benefiting impact on our wellness and health. In this third episode, we will explore the value of positivity inside our homes and learn to build better relationships and harmonious bonds with our family members with positivity. Welcome to this episode, sister.
Thank you, brother.
So you've told us about positive self-thinking, positive approach towards life, and you've also told us about how positivity impacts our health. But what does it mean to think positive about others? So often we hear everybody say that think positive about yourself and think positive about others also. We've learned the first part, but now we want to move on to the second part. What does it mean to think positive about others?
See, positivity is what adds value. So when you think positive about others, it can be broadly in two directions. First is that there is something in those people which adds value to you, which might be their goodness, their speciality. So if you're thinking about their goodness, their plus points, their specialities, you're adding value to yourself. That's one way of thinking positive about others. Another way of thinking positive about others is when you're looking at their weaknesses, their faults, but you have something to add value to them. So having that feeling of hope, having that feeling of compassion, having that feeling, that sense of cooperation for them and adding value to them, that's also a part of positive thinking.
Wonderful. So does that mean that we should ignore other people's faults? Is looking at someone's weakness or finding faults in others, is that negative thinking?
No, that's not true. I mean, definitely we are not complete. Nobody in the world is perfect. Everybody has their pluses and everybody has their weaknesses also. So looking at other person's weakness with the aim to improve it, for example, your own brother or sister, if someone tells you about their weakness, what would you do? You would try to improve it. You would somewhere try to defend also, but then you would try to improve that weakness because it is of your concern. It's your brother, it's your sister. We say that the whole world is my own family. Everybody in this world is my own family member. So when I notice someone's weakness, whether it is someone which is very deeply concerned to me, my own immediate family member, or anybody out in the world. So when you notice someone's weakness, whether you are noticing that weakness to keep a note of it and to flag it and to show it to others, or you're noticing that weakness with the intention of improving it, of adding some value to it, that mindset is what matters. So you're noticing the weakness, the faults, but then you're also suggesting, you're having positive vibrations for them, you're having hope that very soon this person will be able to come out of this situation, overcome this weakness. That's positive thinking.
Okay, so let's say that we talk about someone's mistakes, errors and faults, but we do it all behind their back. But when we directly talk to them face to face, we only praise the goodness in them. Can we still build an honest and strong relationship with them?
Yes, definitely it will. So you can understand this as, for example, you're putting an injection to somebody. Okay, so what do you do before an injection? Just the injection is not what matters. First, you are sterilizing that portion. You are creating a ground to put that injection. And after that sterilization, sanitization, then you are putting the injection, then you are drawing out blood or you are putting in the medicine through the injection, then you are taking out the needle and then you're again sterilizing that particular area. You're again putting some bandage on it. Everything is the part and process of that healing. So when you are noticing someone's weakness and you're thinking bad about it, but you don't have the courage to speak about it. So your words might be a positive input for them, the injection, but you're not doing the process which is to be done. When you're plowing the field, Just to sow the seeds is not enough. You plow it, you prepare a ground. For everything, you first prepare a ground. And this ground that we prepare in relationships is through our attitude, through our thinking. So if I prepare a negative ground, and then I sow the seeds of positivity through my words or my actions in front of them, that won't really give me the best harvest. So I need to first prepare the ground, and the ground is prepared by what I think about them. They might not know of what I'm thinking, actually they know. Whether you feel that they might not know, who knows what I'm thinking about somebody, but they actually know. Because what is your thought? Your thoughts are, we have discussed it in the first episode, my thought is an energy wave. And in the second one, I said that my thoughts are arrows that I'm shooting. It might be for my own self, it might be for someone else. So if you're thinking about something, you transmit an energy wave to that person. That energy wave carries the quality of your thoughts. If your energy is negative, that person receives a negative energy. And before you actually do something, your vibrations, which travel faster than your words, which travel faster than light, they have already created a negative base. And then you will have to make extra effort to speak positive to them, to maintain that good relationships with them. That effort will be extra. And sometimes that even after extra efforts, you don't know why are you not getting the positive response from them, because your negative energy has done so much of negative work at the other side, that little bit of your positive energy, little bit of appreciation is not mending that relationship that has been spoiled by your negative thinking. So it is a myth. You are keeping yourself in darkness if you think that nobody knows what you're thinking about them. Everybody can sense what we are thinking. If not exactly the content, but at least the energy categorization is sensed by everybody.
Okay. So now, sister, please tell us, how can thinking positive about others change our relationship with them? How does it impact? How does it bring sweetness, harmony in the relationship?
That's something that we all need to actually do it in practice, and it's not something very difficult to do. In fact, let me remind you, nobody remembers, but if you can see others, when we were a small child, right, how everybody loves a child. Everybody wants to take the child in their arms and play with them, and everybody loves an innocent child. A child who does not really recognize that this is my mother. He doesn't know that this is the person I will call Ma later on mummy. He doesn't understand these words. He doesn't understand or recognize faces. And everybody loves a child. But still the child would continue to cry in everyone's lap. But as soon as that child comes in the lap of his own mother or father, he stops crying. What was the change? How did this change happen? Because the child can talk in the language of love. We all have a certain language of the soul, and positivity is that language. If you're able to understand that language from the other person and talk to the other person in that language, it is the most receptive language in the world. We might have different languages, humans have different languages, pets have different languages, but how do we communicate? How do we communicate with a child who doesn't know words, who doesn't know how to read or write? It's through the positive vibrations. So the moment you feel or you think positive about somebody, that person feels those positive energy vibes from you. And because that soul also had the language of positivity, you come together. And the moment he doesn't understand your positivity, or rather understands the negative vibrations from you, he repels. So we are all in constant energy exchange with our relationships, with the people that are around us. And the more I can add value to them, the more they would want to be with me. And that's the secret of a close relationship.
So sister, thank you so much for telling us that positivity can help us build better relationships with people around us. But how does positive thinking about myself and positive thinking about others change my life? How does it impact my life?
See, there are different aspects of positive thinking. When I talk about relationship, how do you demonstrate positive thinking? Because if it has to change our life, it has to first be implemented in our life. Not just to the level of thinking, but in different aspects of our life. So when I talk about relationships, positive thinking is demonstrated by clear listening abilities. The more you listen to the person feels as someone to listen to me. That builds a positive relationship. So without having your own prejudices, without preparing yourself for answers while the other person is speaking, a positive person, a positive personality will always give full space to the other person to speak, and he will listen. So listening with a positive outset, that transforms us in general, because we will always offer a listening ear to everybody. Then the second thing comes is acceptance. So how does it affect you? Because if you develop positivity in your relationship, that comes out of acceptance. You know what the other person is, you know their weaknesses, you know their strengths, but you accept them as it is. So when you accept people, you are positive about their goodness, and you are hopeful that they will improve their weaknesses and make them into strengths one day. They will transform themselves, not with the intention to transform them, but you accept them with the hope that they will soon be better. So when I develop these attitudes of listening, of acceptance, of being open and transparent, without having your ego become a barrier in all these things, so that transforms me in general. So if you have developed acceptance in your relationships, that virtue of acceptance will help you in other situations, in accepting different scenarios. If you have developed through positivity listening skills, and you are more tolerant, you are more patient in dealing with your relationships, your overall personality develops, because that patience, that tolerance will show up in different situations where you are not maybe dealing with people, you are dealing with different things. But your relationships are your ground. And the more you practice these goodness, the more you practice this positivity in that ground, it helps you, it becomes a part of you, and it overall transforms you as a better person.
So we often say in a family that sometimes there are differences of opinions, there are disagreements, there are likes and dislikes, and that differ for everybody. Sometimes kids don't agree with parents, sometimes parents fight among themselves, siblings fight among themselves, parents don't agree with children, and in all this chaos, how should positivity be used to still spread harmony around? How should positivity be used to resolve this conflict and these differences in a household?
The differences, diversities, that's the beauty of life. Nobody would want to have the same food again in the day, or maybe repeatedly for several days. Every day you would want to wear something new, different colors. You would want to eat something different in each meal, each time, right? So everybody likes diversity, and relationships are the best example of diversity. A family, if you see a family has so many different personalities. So there will always be difference of opinion, because all of us have had different journeys. In spirituality, we acknowledge this fact very deeply, that my present is not just my present, it is an influence of my past, and not just this life, but there may be past lives also. So every individual has been on a journey, on a spiritual journey, births after births. So if I have always traveled by flight, I would not know how traveling by a train would feel. If I've always traveled by road, I would not know how traveling on a ship, on a cruise would feel like. So we all have had our own experiences, and now we are all together and we're all sharing our own experiences. Now my experience would be different for you, because you might have had a different experience. So having positive relationships or being positive in our relationships does not mean that all our differences will dissolve. It means I understand your differences, and I understand the reason for those differences has been your experience. So whatever you are speaking to me might not be applicable to me. I might not feel the same, but doesn't mean that you are wrong. What happens in relationship, what brings conflict is that I understand whatever I speak is right, Okay, so far so good. What I am speaking is right as per me. But to say that whatever others are speaking, which is not in alignment to what I am speaking, is wrong, that's that's altogether a different scenario. If you are right does not mean that others are wrong. They might also be right from their perspective. So all rights coming together, nobody is wrong. Everybody has their own flavor, everybody has their own thinking, because they all are based on different experiences of their own lives.
So, sister, if we practice positivity as a rule in our household and we just think positive about everybody, what changes can we start to see in people around us?
The first thing that I would like to point out here is that when you start practicing positivity, it must be at all levels. Not just by speaking positive about other people. It won't really matter, right? Speaking, this looks good on you, you are so good, you take care of us, that is very superficial level. So when I talk about, being positive in family, at home, it is at all levels, at your thinking level, at the level of what you speak, what you do with them, everything has to be positive, everything has to be with that elevated energy level. People might forget what you speak to them. People might forget what you did to them, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Sometimes you must have noticed people keep recalling some past incident and say 2 साल पहले उस जगह पे उसके सामने उसने मुझे ऐसा कहा था. Now the words might change. They won't exactly remember what you said. Sometimes they do, but usually it is the feeling that they had at that time which has stayed for long with them. So your words will be forgotten, your actions will be forgotten, but how you made them feel is what will stay with them. And everybody, we have to acknowledge over here, what does everybody need? If I come to your house and it's scorching heat, I am coming all drenched in sweat, and you offer me garam pakoda and chai, this is not what I want. This is not what I need at the moment. I am thirsty, I am coming from sun, I need a cool shelter, I need fan, I need water. So understanding the need of the other person and then to be able to offer what they need is what will bring a change in them. This is what will make them feel that you care for them, you understand them. Sometimes you see people complaining, मुझे कोई नहीं समझता. Sometimes you say people speaking कि मैं आपको तो समझ ही नहीं सकता. Why? Because we have not connected to each other at the level of need. So when I am positive with them, which means I understand their needs and I am able to help them in fulfilling their needs, and my wants and your needs are not conflicting with each other, that gives real comfort to the soul, which is the feeling that they get, and they will not forget that feeling. It will stay with them. That equation will change. You will try to give them what they need and not what you have in surplus. You might have a lot of things at home, but they don't need it. So it usually happens, you give somebody a gift on their birthday, they don't need it, they keep it aside, and in someone else's birthday they will pass it on to someone else, just change the packing, or maybe not even that, just pass it on. So for you, you have given a lot, but for them it wasn't of any worth. So that equation did not really happen, that does not match. So if you give them what they need, understanding them, understanding their heart, they will feel that gratitude, and the next time you need something from them, even if they don't have it, they will try to arrange it at the level of need. So this is what changes our relationship, our equation with people.
Wonderful. That's actually a lot of change that we can start to see in people around us if we just become positive about them and about ourselves. Sister, can you now give us some examples of positive responses or positive thoughts that we can keep for others in a family, or responses that we can give to others in trivial situations in a household?
Yeah, right. So let me just talk in a bit of mathematical terms here, just to make it simple. For example, I have -10. I am in dire need of positivity. I am not at all positive. I am -10. Now I come to you and because of my negativity, what can I give you? Only negative, because I have only negative. So I start giving you -10. And now you will think that they are giving me -10, and tit for tat, you also start giving me -10. So what happens at my end? I already have -10. You gave me another -10. It becomes -20. The next time I meet you, I will start giving you minus 20. And then you say, again, the person does not change at all. Last time also he did the same, this time also is the same equation. Let me do again a tit for tat and let me teach them a lesson this time. So now you start giving me minus 20 or maybe 30 or minus 40. So this is a negative equation which is going on, negative, negative, negative. Now what do we have to do, right? And how does it help? You start, we always say, na, jaise ko taisa. In spirituality, we say, if you are good, if someone is good, do good to them because they deserve it. If they are not that good at the moment, then do extra good so that they become good. So if I start giving you, maybe I have minus 10, so you give me my plus 5. Now your plus 5 has added some value to me, but my negative has not become 0 yet. I will again give you my negative, maybe minus 5 this time. And then you again have that level of perseverance and that level of endurance, and you say, it's okay, let me still give positive plus 5, and you give me another plus 5. Now I have come to 0. I will still not give you positive. I will still give you maybe nothing. You still give me plus 5, and now I have plus 5 to give you. So in family, when we are having that positive interactions, now how can you do this? We spoke about this in mathematical terms. Now what happens is, somebody is negative for you, somebody does not want to listen to you, they don't accept you as you are, they want you to change. Do not do the same with them. If you are receiving a negative energy from their end, do not let that negative energy first of all make you negative, and do not do the same thing with them. For example, you are getting jealousy in relationship, someone is jealous of you. Now what is the answer of jealousy? What's the opposite of jealousy? It may be acceptance, it may be encouragement. You give them that, so that their negative energy of jealousy comes to 0 and then gradually becomes positive for you, and then you will start receiving that same energy that you had given them. You do need a level of perseverance and endurance, tolerance, but this is only the thing that can help, nothing else can help. Doing tit for tat cannot help. So in response to someone's negativity, give them the counterpart, and do it with your deepest level, to do it from your deepest level, from the core of your heart. Only then will it reach them, and then later on maybe you will start getting it, but you will definitely start getting it. But don't do it with the expectation of getting it from them, because that will add an extra burden on them. I am giving this to you so that tomorrow you give me back. Don't add that burden, because that soul is already so weak. The reason that the person is being negative towards you is because that soul is weak. It doesn't have the proper strength to hold positivity. So it's being affected by the surroundings, and that is because it has become weak. So don't put that extra burden of expectations on the other person. Let the person be who that person is, and try to give them positivity, that particular positivity which the person needs. That has to be our response.
Super. So this brings me to my last question, and that is, can we fake it? Can we pretend to be positive and not really feel positive? Can we just fake it and not really mean it?
Try it. If you succeed, let me know. But it cannot happen, because you can fake your words, you can maybe fake your body language to some extent, but you cannot fake your vibrations. Once again, we're talking about every energy in accumulation. So what you do and what you make the other person feel is not at the very superficial level of what you speak or what you do. It's how you make them feel, and you will only make them feel what you are feeling. If you are not feeling good and you're trying to fake it, that cannot help them, because you are transmitting your feelings as it is, because you're not doing it intentionally. It happens. Whatever you're thinking, it creates your aura, it creates your energy vibrations. Sometimes we must have felt that some person comes to us and we feel a bit of repulsion from that person. We don't want to talk to that person. Sometimes a person comes and you feel like talking to them, sitting with them, having some discussion, or if not even discussing, but just sitting, being in their presence. How does it happen? Because my vibrations are interfering with their vibrations. Now it could be a positive interference which I say tuning अच्छी है हमारी. It might be a negative interference which might say इनसे दूर रहना ठीक है. So you are not thinking about what vibrations are happening, but whatever you are thinking is automatically creating that vibration. So people are either repelled by those vibrations or they're attracted to it. So if you want someone to really feel good about you, you cannot fake it, because your feelings are what you are transmitting to them.
So we now know that positivity helps us build better, stronger, honest and harmonious relationships with everybody around us. Positivity is that sweetener that you can add to your life and that enriches lives around you. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode, sister.
Thank you, brother. Om Shanti.
And in the next episode, we will talk about how can positivity help you be successful in your professional careers. How can positivity help you build stronger bonds with your colleagues at your workplace? And how can positivity really make you a responsible citizen of the world? Stay tuned to Spiritually Speaking. Om Shanti.